Hi and welcome to an improved Excel data entering form. Let me show you guys how this works. First of all, I'm going to clear, reset. We can search with any of this column. We can even search with members fees. Okay, let's look for the member with maybe, let's go for £31 plus. That's 31.25p. Click. There we go. That's Sally South End. Okay. We have one Sally South End there. And in here, as we can see, we seem to have a lot of Tommy, and Tommy right there. So let's search for one of the details of Tommy. Let's come right here. Let's say we use Tommy's reference number, which is 4637. There, search. There we go, that's Tommy. We can delete that particular criteria or record that we just searched. Click on delete. That is it. That very Tommy is gone, but we still seems to have more Tommys here. So we can delete them. Let's click. Save, search. Get rid of that. And let's search for other candidates here. Let's search for maybe Sky. There we go. Sky's details in there. And one thing that we can do with this very Excel data entry form is we can even print. Unfortunately, I don't have any printer on my system, so I'm going to cancel there. Okay, one other thing that we can do is we can clear the whole system and add new record. Let's assume the reference number is that and the name happens to be Kingsley and the surname is Wales. Address of Kingsley, Wales. Let's say number 10, Queen's Park, London. And the postcode alright, and telephone number, registration date, let's make that 01/08/2020. Proof of ID is a student and is a quarterly member, which means he's paying about 30 something pounds. If we look at our records here, we don't have anybody called Kingsley. So have a good look at it. So we will now add Kingsley on board. So click on add. There we go. And let's go right down. We should be able to see Kingsley's details there. One other good thing about this project is if we go straight onto the workbook, that's Kingsley's details. I'm going to exit out from here. The reason being, just to prove to you that this system is protected, we cannot enter any details. We cannot enter any details directly onto the workbook or the spreadsheet itself because it's protected. So click on OK. So to reopen it, I'm going to go back to the development tab. Let's come in here. If you want to work on it, you then have to enter the password. There, click on OK. And then open up this workbook there, and you can run it. There we go. And carry out another search. Let's assume I want to search for, let's come in here, use a postcode 73YHJ. Search there. Okay guys, let's go to Excel workbook and we put one of these together. And welcome back to Excel data entering form. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use this raw data. I just made them up. You can make up yours yourself. But before I go any further, I'm going to save this project. Let's go to File, Save As, and let's browse to a location. And I'm going to be saving my project right in here. But first thing first, you see where we have Save As? Because I'm going to save it as Excel Macro Enable Workbook. There. So let's select a name for it. So I'm going to just call that Excel Data Entering Form. There. But make sure Save As, that is Macro Enable. I'm going to click on Save. There. The next thing I'm going to do now is go straight to the Developer tab. If you don't have the Developer tab, then you will have to go to File and Options, and right there make sure you select Customize Ribbon. You should be able to see your developer. If you don't see it, search in here and just bring it over to the right here, and make sure this check button, this checkbox is checked. Then you click on OK, and you should be able to see your developer menu there. Select the developer menu, then select Visual Basic, or you can always select Alt F11. Click on it. The next thing you want to do now is come where you see where we have Insert. Go right there and just click and select Userform. So that's your form now defined. Now let's come right here. You see where we have the height? I'm going to make the height about maybe 700, or let's go for 800. There we go. And the width, I'm going to go for about 1000 plus. Let's move this up so that you guys can see what I'm up to. The width, that is it right there. I'm going to make that 1040. Press enter. There. Okay, the next thing I will do now is I'm going to go straight to the tools right there. If you can have it, it should be here somewhere. Select the tools, and I'm going to select frame. My very first frame, that's my first one. Click, hold, and drag. That's the second one, and that's the third one. So you should be able to see the names for each frames. The first one, that's it there, frame 1. The second one, that is it right there, and the third one. Okay, the other thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to get rid of the text content inside the frames. Go to the caption, just get rid of them. There. And this very first one, I'm going to make the height about, let's go for about 66. And the width, I'm going to make that 1000. In fact, all of them, I'm going to make their width 1008. There we go. Now, this one in the middle, this very one, I'm going to make the height 224. Okay, let's make it 234. There we go. Move it up a little bit. Then the one right underneath here, move it down, and I'm going to make the height of this one 180. There we go. Now the next thing is to change the color. So for this one, I'm going to add green. Select it and make sure. Let's go to the border right here. Just look for something green. Okay, something about that. Now the next one, in fact the next two frames, so I'm going to change their background color to something a little bit lighter. Maybe something like this. Yep, that is fine. And you see this background, let me change the color of the background to something a little bit darker. so that the two will look pronounced. This one, no, the background. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that's fine. Move this up a little bit. Okay. Alright, the next thing is I'm going to add a text here. So let's select the label. That's the label. And I'm going to change the size of that very label to, let's go for the font size. I'm going to make that about 44. Make that bold, 44 bold. Let's just type that in there. Right, and change the font color as well. There, that's the font color. And in here, I'm just going to enter the following text on it. So let's come into the caption. I'll just enter Excel data entry form. There. Now, let's enter some more labels here. Grab, add, and this very label, I'm going to make the size 16. Bold 16. There we go. And this label, let's change the text content on this label to maybe reference. Okay, reference number. There. Okay, copy it across. The rest will be name, surname, the address, postcode. Right. So let's change those accordingly. Postcode. That will be address. And that will be surname. And first name. Select enter first name there. There we go. Alright, let's add some text on it. So I'm going to add a text box now. Click on that. That's the text box. Just drag it that much. And the font size on it, let's change it to bold 16. And let's see the height. Let's see. Yeah, that's about 30. That's not too bad. What about the width? Okay, that's not too bad. I'm going to make that 330. Right, so let's just copy it across. Hold on to your control, copy and drag. Click and drag. One more here and one down here. Right, that's cool. Okay, let's copy this across. So I need about 5 of those. Hold on to the control, click and drag, bring it aside here. Right, that's fine. And I'm going to need 2 of these, or let's go for 3. I will have to rearrange all of that. Okay, this would be for my search. Okay, this one's, let's move all of this down a little bit. Alright, so what else do we need? Okay, I need a combo box. Right here. We're gonna need 3 of those. 1, 2, and 3. There we go. And here I'm going to add a button here. Let's see the color of this. Let's go for the back color. There we go. That's the background color. Click on that very button and change the background color to that same color. and the fonts 16 bold, and let's change that to search. And the object name is going to be known as CMB search. There. Why this will be known as TXT search. There. Okay, so I'm going to give them all a name, but one thing first, let's add a list box here. So come in here, list box. That is it. Click, drag all the way. There we go. Right. And right underneath here, let's move this up a little bit. I'm going to add some buttons. Yeah. There we go. And this very button, let's grab that color. The green color. Replace the green color on that very button. Click the back color, come in here and change it to green. And the font size. Let's change the font size to something a bit readable. There. And what about the color? The font color. Copy that. Grab this, come in here, font color or font color there, and let's change the font itself. I'm going to change that to exit there, and the name of this is going to be CMB exit. There we go. And let's just copy this across. Right there. And one more. There. Okay. If I run my program now, let's come in and just run it so that you guys see how the interface looks like. This is how it's looking now. You see, it's not too bad. That's very good. Okay. I'm now going to speed up the whole process just to tidy up things. Then we can continue with the coding. Okay, this is how it all looks now. So let's do some coding. Okay, and here I also have a label. Now let's start work with some coding. That's a label right there for my date and time, or for just date. Alright, so the first thing is we want to be able to populate this list box. The list box is called LBL display. So I'm now going to double click on the form. This is the form. Double click on it, and here we have private user form, but I'm going to change that to initialize. Now the very first thing I want to do is let's grab as follows, because all of this data here, I want them displayed on the list box. So where we have initialized, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to say lst display dot column. It's going to be dot column count. There we go. Count every single column. In total, I have about 10. I have 10, not about 10. 10 columns. So I now want that very column. Well, let's say the list display dot role source equals, I like that to take effect from A1 column and up to J 65,356. Close that. So now let me show you what I've just done in here. That is it. From A1, which will include the title up to J. Let's assume you have data up to L or whatever, then you can also always make that up to L or M, but mine is just up to J. Okay, so let's go back here. So that is it right there. If I run it now, all of those data that you guys are looking at should be displayed on my list box. So let's run it and you see what I'm talking about. There we go, that is it. So that's how simple it is to get those data on the list box. Now look at this combo box. There's nothing in them, but I want to be able to add some data into it, and I also want time to be displayed here. So while we are still working on our form initialized right here, I'm going to say lbl date dot caption equals, I like it to format the date. So let's say format, and then bracket date. There. Why I'm formatting that, I don't want time to display. That's it. Date is sorted. Close that. Now, for each of these combo box, this one is known as proof of ID, and this is member type and member fees. So go back to my code and right underneath here, the very first one, CBO proof dot add. You have to call this method dot add item, and the very first item, I'm going to put nothing. I don't want anything in there. The second item that I would like you to add, let's copy this so that we can speed up things. 1 2 3 4 5, maybe 6. Let's see. The second item, I'm just going to call that driving license. There. And the next one, let's go for student ID. Just a proof. Then maybe we'll go for pilot license. Passport. And credit card. So let's, if we have credit card, we might as well include debit card. So let's say debit card. There. So that's taken care of. Now let's take care of the others. CBO member type dot add item. The very first item will be nothing. So let's go right down so that you guys can see it. Copy. Member type is going to be 4 different types of member. So the very first one is empty. Okay, and the very first member will be either a weekly member, okay, let's enter member there. Then we have monthly member, monthly member. Then let's say quarterly member. And finally we have annual member. There. Now the next one is CBO member fees dot add. Have 0 there. We have 4 different member fees. So there. So that will be approximately, our fees will be about £2 something. 41p. Then we have £10 42p, and here that will be 31 pounds 25p, and here a year that would be 125 pounds, not dollars. There. So I've taken care of all that. If I run it now, we should be able to see all of this data on those Combobox. There we go. There. So that is fine. Okay, let's take care of that. Exit. Close that. Where is the, let's see the exit. Double click on the exit. For the exit, let's declare a variable in there. I'm going to call that dim I exit as VB message box result, and in there the first thing is going to be I exit equals message box, and inside that message box I would like it to say confirm if you want to exit. Close that comma. I will now enter VB question plus VB yes or no. Let's add one more criteria. The next one is going to be the title. So the title is just going to be data entry. Data entry form. Close that. I will now use an if statement. If I exit equals VB yes, then unload me. So by saying unload me, you're actually referring to the form. And if you must end your if statement, you can indent. That is it. Okay, that is taken care of as exit. Run the program. Click. No, I don't want to exit. Yes, I do want to exit. Okay, let's take care of the reset button. With the reset button, we're going to be using a for loop. But first of all, let's declare a variable dim txt, because all of the text box, they all have the prefix txt. So I'm going to say for each txt in frame 2, because all of the text box are on frame 2. Dot controls. So I'm referring to the controls of the system. So if type of txt is ms forms, there we go, that's it, dot text, then I want you to clear whatever, anything that is txt prefix should be cleared. Dot text equals clear. There. So let's end if here, and we also need to get it nested here. Nest txt. That is taken care of. But the combo box, I won't be able to do that with the combo box, so I'm going to clear those ones individually. So since I only have 3, so I can just get rid of them like this. There, that's one gone. The next one is going to be CBO member type, paste, and the last one is CBO fees. So change this one to fees with an S. There we go. That's it, all done. Right, let's get this indented properly. Indent this and indent this here. Okay, let's try that out. So I'm going to run it. Run. Just enter some stuff in there. Select. There we go. And this. Try that out. There we go. That's fine. Close that. Now the next one. Let's take care of this easy one. Here, this very one. Double click. There. And for the print, all we just need to enter is application dot dialog, and that is going to be X print properties. Let's come here. Okay, and that's going to be printer setup dot show. There, this workbook dot sheets, and the sheet that I'm talking of that I intend to print is workbook 1. So that is for print taken care of. Right. Now the next one, let's come out here and see. So we've taken care of all of these, 1, 2, and 3. So let's take care of delete and add. No, delete, add, and search. Okay, let's see. How long do we have? Okay, we might need some time to take care of add, delete, and search. Well, with that, let me just call it the end of the first part of this tutorial, and I'll see you guys shortly.